Ja, det synes jeg.
Hello and welcome to this video where we will be discussing 5 slides from this week's PowerPoint on how to increase the quality of meetings. And we start off by using the slide with the same name. We see 6 points, and we'll first be talking about point number 1, using word cards or flashcards. Paul Nation talks about using these word cards or flashcards as a great way to start out the first meetings with a word, because it ensures the quality of the words and that you don't waste any time on useless words, and therefore making sure that the quality of the vocabulary is ensured. If we go on to point number 2, graded reading, he talks about that this way of reading also ensures a varied some varied meetings with the words, and is also ensures some great opportunities for varied repetition. If we jump on down to point number 4, learners should be trained in how to learn vocabulary. We sort of drift into this strategy use and acknowledging how you learn best, which is a great motivation for most people, knowing that when you do an activity, it helps you to gain a new word into your vocabulary. And finally, the last 2 points, point 5 and 6, is about fluency and communication, where it, as it says, can involve both receptive and productive varied meetings and use. And well, the reason for this is fluency development increases the amount of input and output, and thus repetition. So repetition is ensured here. We jump on to slide 10.
I think you should start.
I should start.
Yes.
Of course. Collocation knowledge. And what does that mean? Well, collocation actually means a way to meet a word with another word and put it into perspective with a word you already know that has kind of the same meaning. So an example of this could be, let's say, strong. You know the word strong as a word that's kind of similar to powerful, but you know that you wouldn't use powerful in regards to describing a tea. You wouldn't say it's a powerful tea, you would say a strong tea. And to flip that, a computer could be powerful, but you wouldn't say a strong computer. So that's collocation knowledge, is taking the word and putting it in the same box as another word, but knowing the differences still.
Yes. Orthographic knowledge is when you write down the word and in that way help yourself remembering it. Pretty much. Connotational knowledge is when you create positive and negative associations of a word. I can't quite think of an example at the moment, but it could be clever, you're smart, intelligent, and try to find associations of that word.
I think it's you again with the orthographic knowledge.
No, I covered that.
Okay, sorry.
I think it's you.
Yeah.
Metalinguistic.
Metalinguistic, I'm actually not going to talk about that one, but about cultural content instead.
Oh.
What is the significance of use in the culture? And an example of that could be the word hat. You all obviously know the word hat from, you have seen it before you could even talk your native language, but there's also a lot of cultural things to know about a hat, which is the example here. For example, the differences between hats and how they are used in different cultures. So that's a way to understand and knowing a word even more deeply by knowing the cultural meaning of this word. In this example, a hat. And if we move on to slide 11, how to learn vocabulary, we sort of take some of the things we've already talked about and see them as a way to increase your vocabulary. We see guessing from its context. That's sort of something that you could be aware of, as we talked about earlier in slide 7. Is that a way for you to learn better? Then you can be aware of it, and also that could come into play both when reading and talking fluently with others. Yeah, and I think we jump on to
and Bjergum talks about læringsstrategier, or how to teach vocabulary, and all in all, there's 2 different approaches: the direct approach and the indirect approach. And the direct approach covers your work with words in different ways, such as using the memory strategy and creating pictures and or audio in your head, and it requires a lot of repetition. The indirect approach focuses on the social learning strategies, and along with teaching vocabulary, helps you develop understanding for foreign cultures. And the last important slide is slide 14, the size of vocabulary. And in the English language, there are actually over 54,000 word families, but adult native speakers only know around 20,000 of these word families. And an example could be your plastic thing on your shoelaces. I don't believe a lot of people know what it's called, but it's actually called an egglet. And so are many things we don't use in our daily life that we don't know the words of. If you have to speak an understandable English, you have to have a vocabulary between 3,000 to 5,000 words or word families.